I actually feel really dirty right now. Vault of all things. Wrong weapons of all things. But going to try to farm some... Okay. You can all please now go away. That would be really lovely. Lots of shields. Tons of shields. And I'm going to use this to make them fight amongst themselves. That is the only use of my secondary. It's basically a giant, please fight amongst yourselves while I pick you off from a distance weapon. That is it. That is all it is being used for. Also, I just realised what they are doing. I've done this before. I have actually done this before. I completely forgot about that. Ah, that's so clever. There's so many different places you can do this. But going to try and farm some steel essence from many, many different places. And I'm just going to throw this up here and go. Easy cover. I could have used... Oh, I'm actually massively regretting this now. Could have used frost. Though shooting through full shield, I guess, will probably be better. I will bring you back when this is done to show how useful this is. Because I've heard many different ways. One of which being go against the infested. And, well, this is the first time I've heard about using the void. Which used to be one of the best places to camp for things. We go in, scroll down. Oh, it actually picked that one up. Now there's two, he says, and then moments later has got 4 times that. Now, please, you have to remember one thing about this. Double resource booster, which means these numbers are halved. That's 5 riven slivers and only 4 steel essence. But that's 4 times more than I had before. Because, well, I had 8. Yeah. And then I spent 3 of them. So I had 5. So right now, it literally almost doubled it. If I find one more, I have doubled the amount I've managed to get my hands on in the past month. This resource needs to drop a little bit more. The enemies are level 170 plus at this point, and it's getting a little bit, I'm not going to say hairy, but yeah, you can farm 40 or 50 of these in an hour. No. Put into words, all I can say is sigh. But with 16 of them, I actually almost... No, I did. I completely doubled in one mission what it has taken me a month to actually get through completing the star chart and other things. Obviously, this whole thing is basically just to get to that. You can barely see it there. Ephemera. But what made this so much easier to do now than it did before, that I was kind of waiting for something that verifies this, because I was told by everybody it didn't work. I hadn't gotten around to testing it because my chance of dropping these was slim to begin with. But it does work. Kind of, I'm going to say it kind of tested it and definitely works. But after about 20 minutes in pretty much any survival, yeah, they start to spawn more often, and it's just a case of taking in your Smita Kavat and hoping you can get it to give you the luck of the double boost, which will actually give you 4 of these instead of 1, and I have heard of rare occasions where it will actually sometimes give you 8 instead of 1, because it takes the 1 that's doubled, and then it doubles it again, and somehow there's another double in there. I don't know how that one worked. In theory, it should just give you 4. Unless there is a double resource weekend, in which case, as I've probably mentioned before, definitely worth farming this stuff during a double resource weekend, because for every 1 that drops, you will end up with 8. With a double resource booster that does affect these, every 1 becomes 2. With a Smita Kavat using its luck, if, big if, you can get that to actually kick in, because it's kind of a random thing, that 1 becomes 4. So the most of these you can actually get from 1 drop is 4. They did this years ago with Oxium, and Oxium became the rarest resource in the game. If you go and have a look at how much Oxium you have now, 30 used to be... Basically, to get Oxium was exactly the same thing. You go and do a survival mission and you end up with, if not as much, but I think we were coming out after about half an hour with about 15-20 oxium. It was taking forever to get that stuff. This is exactly the same. Here's hoping in the future they kind of make this a little bit easier to drop. But for now, it's not. It's dropping in ones. It is really hard to get. It's not as hard to get this as it is river slivers. Slivers. They also drop exactly the same way from eximus enemies, but it is literally do a survival mission. You need to go at least 20 minutes, so go between 20 and 40 minutes. Then, well, really go to an hour, and usually you can come out with at least 30 of these things without a drop chance booster. If you are lucky, which a lot of people are a lot more luckier than I am with their drops like this, but did manage to get a lot the second time around actually doing this, and this was the only twice I've actually farmed this stuff. I got everything I needed from those 2 missions, and it was hardly any from the last one, and the first one, and 46 from the second one. The rest of it was just dropped in missions and rewards for clearing planets. But farming it, 46 for an hour, that is what I was hoping to get the first time round. Up to about 40 minutes, and you can have this done in 2 hours. And you can have all 85 of them to get the ephemera done. After that, it's just onto the, let's just say, the Bishamo get up, because the gauntlets, I'm going to call them gauntlets because they're the gloves, they're the boots, that's the helmet, and that's the chest piece. Whatever you want to call those. That entire get up costs 85 steel essence, as does that ephemera. So that one item costs the same as all 4 of these. They will probably add stuff to this in the future, but for now it's basically that's what everybody's after, and this stuff's kind of a So you need at least wow, 170 steel essence to basically get everything in here, apart from this one middle row, which doesn't really mean, let's say 173, because if you're going to get everything, you may as well get the trio as well. That is a lot of steel essence, but doable if you have 4 or 5 hours spare. I really hope one day he brings this weapon to the steel path as the reward and makes it, oh, not what I wanted to do, makes it sellable right there. Hopefully for not a lot more steel essence than that, because that would be overkill. Plus farming for it is going to be a nightmare. But we'll leave this off here for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Yeah, those boosters definitely help a lot, but just a survival mission,